Let's start with something that's going to help you, okay? Because it helped me. Support for the show comes from ZBiotics. Let me tell you about this little bottle right here. This has really saved me more than once. It's called Pre-Alcohol, and it is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic created by PhD scientists to help you bounce back after a night out. Haha, last night. So when you drink, alcohol turns into a toxic byproduct in your gut. That buildup, it's not dehydration. That is what leaves you dragging the next morning. And ZBiotics breaks it down before it hits you. Now, I tried it the first time before a dinner party, and some good food, some good wine, and I woke up ready to go, ready to do this show. No crash, no fog. So whether you are tailgating, celebrating, or just relaxing this weekend, make ZBiotics your first drink of the night. Go to zbiotics.com/lemon. Use the code LEMON for 15% off of your first order. It is backed by a 100% money-back guarantee, no questions asked. That's zbiotics.com/lemon, and the code is LEMON. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Hot Topics, the Don Lemon Show, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, right here in New York. I want to take you live. Yeah, here's my thing. I want to take you live to, this is Norfolk, Virginia, right now. You see that courthouse? We are starting, this is becoming way too common for us to start these shows, our shows in the morning, with one of Donald Trump's political rivals being indicted for bullshit, bogus charges, okay? Let's just be honest about it. I'm not going to frame it like, oh, maybe she's guilty. We know that it's not. The reporting is showing that it's not. If you look at the case, she's not. But these are trying times. As my grandmother would say, baby, these are trying times, and you just have to get through it. So we just have to get through this. We're going to have to pray a lot, y'all. And we're going to have to take some action because the Lord helps those who help themselves. So I am so glad that you're here with us this morning. Let me know where you are streaming from. And if you're watching this not live on the rebroadcast, we're going to get you all the news. But we're live in the morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, every weekday. And sometimes on the weekends, depending on the news. Love our lemon community. I do too. I love our lemon community. Was that Maureen who said that?
Yeah, that was Maureen.
Yeah, Maureen. And Maureen's isn't she in California? She's up early. I think she's in California. Yeah, we had a great legend show last night, if you missed it, where we talked about all things that have to deal with what's going on right now. It was a lively conversation about the protests that happened last weekend. So, yeah. Hi, Philly. Hi, New Jersey. Hi, Texas. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Mississippi. Hello, Mississippi. Hello, Texas. Hello, New Jersey, Philly, Ontario, Canada. People from all over the world, humans, all of Earth watching us. So as we look at this courthouse, let me just get you going. Oh, let me tell you, we are going to have an interview with Karine Jean-Pierre. You are going to want to see it because we talk about everything. People said, oh, she threw Joe Biden under the bus. Well, she has words for that. She has words about Kamala Harris. Now, I won't tell you how she feels or what she says because I want you to stick around and watch it. I think you're going to find it fascinating. I think you're going to find it more interesting than any of the other interviews that she's done. And I have friends who have done in the media who've done interviews with her, but not like this. I've known Karine Jean-Pierre for a long time, and we've had some very tense. I don't know if you guys know. We've had some very tense exchanges where I challenged her when she was White House press secretary, and even before when she was a deputy press secretary. So I think you're going to enjoy this interview, and it's going to clear up some things for you. Hello, Chicago. I see you there. I see you, Oslo. Hello. Wow. Flattered that you're watching in Oslo. I hear in Norway, we have like a huge fan base. So hello, Norway. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Don Lemon Show. Thank you so much for joining us. Please, guys, will you make sure you hit that thumbs up that's on the screen? Hit that like button. No matter what platform you're following us on, hit the likes or the hearts or whatever it is, because it does affect the algorithm. And Don, we got to get all of us together. I agree, Christy Blackman. I agree. So make sure you hit the thumbs up and the like. Make sure you subscribe, become a subscriber and a member. I appreciate it. Someone has gifted a membership. Thank you very much. And welcome to all of our new members. Okay. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Don Lemon Show. We're looking at this courthouse right now. New York Attorney General Letitia James is going to appear in that federal courthouse in Norfolk, Virginia this morning to be arraigned on a 2-count indictment that's stemming from statements that she allegedly made about the nature of a second home she purchased in 2020. I'm not going to pretend that this is normal and that there's any legitimacy to this, because there's not. I'm just giving you the facts. Okay. James' arraignment is the latest in a string of prosecutions brought against the president's perceived political foes, despite objections from career prosecutors, some of whom have since been fired and resigned because they thought this case was bull, and they were like, why are we bringing it? So they were resigned. If they resigned, and if they didn't want it, they were fired. James was indicted on 2 federal counts of bank fraud and making false statements to a financial institution. So we are watching that courthouse. The indictment stems from her 2020 purchase of a home in Norfolk, Virginia, where prosecutors allege that she misled a bank about the nature of a residence in order to obtain more favorable loan conditions. Again, we know it's bullshit. That's what the reporting shows. So James, for her part, has vehemently denied wrongdoing and is expected to plead not guilty. Her indictment, like the indictment of the FBI director, James Comey, was presented to a grand jury by former White House aide Lindsey Halligan, whom Trump installed as the acting U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia last month, despite never having overseen a jury trial before. She is an insurance lawyer. What the you-know-what? Everyone, she is an insurance lawyer. So what are you going to do? An insurance lawyer. And so we'll keep watching that, okay? And we'll keep bringing you the truth about it. But I want to tell you about what's happening with this case just in general, now that I've given you the facts on all of this. And then we'll take you around the country. You know, if there's time after we have our Karine Jean-Pierre interview, I'll take you around the country and we'll do some things. But you know, Letitia James is the Attorney General of New York. She's a woman who once stared down, I should say, Donald Trump in court, and she won. And so she's walking into this Virginia courthouse this morning, and it's supposed to happen within just minutes. And she's going to face this arraignment. And this arraignment never, ever should have happened. You guys know this is not justice, right? And this, can we talk? Because the beginning part of what I did is something that I would do if I was still in corporate media this morning. This is happening, when we know that it's BS, okay? This is plain old revenge. I'm glad that I don't have to do that in independent media. This is revenge. I don't have to pretend that there's some false equivalency here. Thank you, Ms. Bella 77, by the way, because of your generosity, 10 people get to become members of Elimination. I appreciate that. Donald Trump has turned the Justice Department into a political weapon. And today, that weapon is aimed squarely at one of his most persistent rivals, and outspoken, and that is Letitia James. Letitia James just didn't, sue Donald Trump. She persisted. She persisted in standing strong and telling the truth about Donald Trump. She didn't just sue Trump, she beat him, right? She proved that he inflated his wealth by billions, that he manipulated banks, that he misled investors, and built an empire on lies. The thing is that she really exposed him, and he didn't like it. And now he wants payback. It's so obvious. This man is so petty. Wait, and did you guys hear? We're going to talk about it a little bit later. I don't know if it's going to be in this program, but overnight, he's so pissed at Canada for some bullshit that's not even true about Ronald Reagan. But back to Letitia James, because the case against her is really paper thin. ABC News is reporting that prosecutors inside the Justice Department found the so-called financial benefit, right, allegedly, that she gained from her home, from the loan of about $800. 800, not 800,000, not 8 million, 800, not even 80,000, 800. Career prosecutors warned their bosses that the evidence didn't meet the standard of proof required for trial, but that didn't matter. Because this isn't about the law. It's about loyalty. And again, it is about revenge. So Eric Siebert was the previous U.S. attorney. He refused to bring this case. Trump then replaced him with Lindsay Halligan. We're going to talk about her. She's a loyalist attorney with no prosecutorial experience. Almost overnight, the indictment appeared. So because he put his own person in. That's how political vengeance works. When one honest prosecutor says no, then you find another one who will say yes. Again, this is BS. And now Halligan herself is under scrutiny. It's always it's always signal with these people. They're always giving themselves away on these texting or messaging platforms. Now she's accused of using the encrypted app Signal to talk about this very case with messages set to auto-delete, secret chats, vanishing messages, and leaks to the press. Who are these people? That's not just sloppy. I mean, it's really unethical. And still, she is the one who signed the indictment, and nobody else would sign any of these indictments for any of these people because they don't believe in the strength or even the legitimacy of this case. So the headlines are going to scream that Letitia James is charged with mortgage fraud. The truth underneath it is even uglier than that. And it's really ugly about the people, about Donald Trump and the people who are here in this position doing it. Stop these Putin-style show trials. Release the Epstein files. Look at your screen right now. Amen. And this is out in front of this courthouse where Letitia James, great sign, by the way. This is all manufactured. The timing, the personnel, the press leaks, all of it has Donald Trump's fingerprints on it. Because this petty, little, small-handed, small self-awareness, no self-awareness, but small sense of self. Maybe he has he thinks he's the greatest, but he's really not. Underneath that, he's overcompensating for just how unqualified he is to be the president of the United States. Man, this is a heavy sign that this man is holding. And good for him. Let's see if he flips it around. So anyways, he has always believed that the law is something that you can use, not something that you follow. So we know that this is a pattern for Donald Trump. From prosecutors to political enemies, from judges to journalists, anyone who crossed him becomes a target. I think he's sharing the sign with someone else. He promised retribution on the campaign trail. He said that he'd go after his opponents, and now he is doing exactly that. Letitia James isn't just another name to him. She is the woman. Letitia James humiliated Donald Trump in court. And and a black woman who dared to hold him accountable. And in Trump's America, no, can't do that. That's unforgivable. What are these cops doing with this man? This man has rights. We need to watch the screen as I'm talking. Can you guys watch this man? Somebody please protect this man at all costs out there. Please. She's not supposed to do that because, she's a black woman in America. And apparently, if you look at your screen, maybe you're not supposed to protest, even though it's your First Amendment right in America, because I don't know what these security people or cops are doing out here. That man has every right to bear any sign that he wants. So if a sitting attorney general can be dragged into court on an $800 technicality, imagine what that means for everyone else. Imagine how easily the system can be bent, it can be twisted, and used to crush dissent. Defend democracy. Whoever this man is, I love him on the screen. If you're not watching this and you're just listening to it, I'm sorry, I hate to tell you that this is good. Defend democracy. And then he said, stop these show trials. Just release the Epstein files. So imagine how easily it is that this system can be bent, twisted, and used to crush dissent and political rivals. It's not just retaliatory, it's symbolic. It is a warning to every prosecutor, every attorney, every public servant who might think about standing up to power right now. Apparently, you're not allowed to oppose anything in this administration because it's just, what are we, back in the Germany in the 30s and 40s? And even in this moment, the facts are collapsing under their own weight. Okay, so let me tell you, this is what ABC News is reporting. They're saying the foundation of this case is weak. Whether she occupied that home or not, it's built on vague definitions. Her niece lived there. Bills were paid. No one was defrauded. It's smoke without fire, unless you count the fire of revenge, right? That's behind this. The Justice Department under Trump has become what it was never meant to be, a personal sword for settling scores. Prosecutors who objected were ignored. Evidence was stretched thin. And now Halligan, accused of wiping messages, is lecturing the country about ethics. You know, I tell you what, these MAGA people, every accusation is a confession. So they're accusing Letitia James of wrongdoing and being unethical when they are the people who are doing the wrongdoing. They're the people who are wrongdoing or doing wrong, and they are the people who are unethical. That is the world that we're living in right now, where the arsonist calls himself the fire marshal, right? Sets the fire and then puts it out. That's usually what many arsonists do. Every accusation they make is really a confession. They accuse her of dishonesty just to distract you from their own deceit. They call her corrupt just to justify their very own corruption. They pretend that this is law when it is pure politics. We see that it is politics. So right now what we're watching is obviously a scene at a courtroom and at a courthouse that is going to unfold. Now, Letitia James, you know, she doesn't hold back. She might come out and speak. And so I'm glad they've left this man alone. And I hope he stands behind everything. What does this say? Let me get this, because, you know, my eyes aren't what they used to be. If I was guilty of fraud or rape, left a mob alone to hang my VP, and my best friend was a pedophile, I try to change the subject too. Mister, I don't know who you are, but you are our hero of the day. And truer words have never been spoken. And one of the signs says taco on the back. You are right. Black Betty, protect this man at all costs. What I'm watching on the screen is better than anything that I can say. I hope he gets that sign back up. And I hope he's behind every person who comes up. His signage is very efficient. So we're watching this scene unfold, and I think it's great. But also what we're watching is a democracy that is learning to punish its truth tellers. And we can't have that. We saw it with the whistleblowers. We saw it with journalists. And now we're seeing it with the Attorney General of New York right now, Letitia James, in this courthouse, in that courtroom, because she did her job, because she believed that no one, not even a former president, when she did this, and now he's president again, is above the law. And for that, she is being treated like a criminal. So don't just watch this arraignment. Don't just watch it on TV. I want you to watch. I want you to be aware and cognizant. When people say woke, be woke. Watch the principle behind it. Because if this is what happens when you hold power accountable, then our democracy is really on life support. We've heard from Letitia James. We know she's going to fight this. She's a tough woman. She has been through worse. She knows exactly who she's up against. But this real fight is not hers alone, I believe. It's ours. It's about whether the law still belongs to the people or only to those powerful enough to bend it. So when you see her either walk into this courtroom, or out of this courthouse, head high, steady, unbroken, remember what that represents. That is not weakness. That is courage under fire. And courage is exactly what this country is going to need. It is going to survive another 4 years of vengeance disguised as justice. We all need courage. Now, you may not think, or maybe you do think, that Karine Jean-Pierre has courage. Oh, the signs are coming out. You may not think she does, or maybe you do. I know that Karine Jean-Pierre has become a polarizing figure as of late because of the book, because she left the Democratic Party, because of some of her statements, and many more. Some of them, which were misconstrued and taken out of context, that she is here right now to clear up. We're going to hear from our very extensive and in-depth interview with Karine Jean-Pierre right after these 2 minutes. Words from our sponsors, and then Karine Jean-Pierre. I'm here on the Don Lemon Show. Watch. Support for the show comes from Henson Shaving. I've tried every razor out there, and most left me irritated or wishing that I hadn't shaved at all. So Henson finally got it right. They make their razors in an aerospace machine shop that built parts for the Mars rover. Can you believe that? The precision is incredible. The blade extends less than a human hair. So there's no drag, there's no burn, just smooth skin. Now, the first time I used mine, I actually said out loud, oh, wow, this is great. This is different. No redness, no sting, just a clean, comfortable shave every morning. And get this, it works with regular double-edged blades that cost pennies, okay? And they send you some of those blades for a fraction of what it would cost anywhere else. So you get like 2 years of free shaving, basically. So visit hensonshaving.com/lemon and then pick up your razor and use the code LEMON for a free pack of 100 blades. There you go. About 2 years of shaving on me. That's hensonshaving.com/lemon. And the code is LEMON. Support for the show comes from Lean. We've all done it. We've dropped a few pounds and then we gain them right back. Doctors call that weight cycling. And it's tougher on your body than you might think. It strains your heart, your liver, even your metabolism. And that's why I like Lean. It's a non-prescription supplement made by doctors that helps keep your blood sugar steady, curbs cravings, and helps your body burn fat for fuel. I have been using it with a healthy diet and regular workouts, and it has made a real difference for me. No crash, no yo-yos. So if you are ready for real sustainable results, try Lean. Go to takelean.com and use the code LEMON for 20% off of your first order. That's takelean.com and use the code LEMON. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Don Lemon Show. Today, a very special guest, someone I've been wanting to get on for a long time. It's Karine Jean-Pierre. She served as the 35th White House press secretary from 2022 to 2025 and is a senior advisor to President Joe Biden. She also has a new book out, and it's called Independent, a look inside a broken White House outside the party lines. Karine Jean-Pierre.
Hi,
welcome.
Don.
How are you?
I'm doing great. It's good to see you. Congratulations on your very successful, independent journalism show. And I'm so proud of you. Congrats. And it's fun. It's fun watching you. I was joking around, but I thought we were going to be on the streets or something, talking to people. But I'm glad to be in here.
Thank you so much. I mean, from independent to independent, now you know. Yeah. And I am actually a registered independent. I'm not. I don't.
That doesn't surprise me. I feel like most journalists
Yeah.
tend to be, which
Yeah.
actually makes sense to me. Yeah.
So I usually interview people at my house, but I was like, it's Karine Jean-Pierre. I have to be in the studio today.
No!
I could have made lunch for you. We could have hung out in my kitchen.
Well, okay, I got to come back.
It
Then.
would have
We're
been
gonna
great.
do that.
Yes.
We're going to do that.
So you're in high demand these days.
Am I?
Yes, you are.
Am I?
How does that feel?
I think as long as we can have a conversation, and that's what I want to do with the book. That really was the purpose of the book, is to start a conversation, because I do think the system is broken. And I do think in this moment that we are in 2025, almost done, right? Just a couple of months left, it's scary. And I need to see a way forward. And I want us, people who are afraid and scared right now, to have a way forward. So that's kind of like the back part of the book, is hopefully setting up a roadmap on how folks can move forward and fight and do it as a coalition, do it together. And that's what I'm trying to do with all of, talking to you, talking to others. What's the conversation that needs to be had that's not having, and how can we do that together? Yeah. And so that's just, as long as that's happening, I feel like then the purpose of what I'm trying to do is working.
Broken how?
So I think you need a functioning two-party system in order to have a democracy. I took poli-sci. One of my mentors is a poli-sci professor, and that is something when I was getting into politics that I really understood. You have to have these two parties, both the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, working in tandem in many ways and really delivering on the behalf of the American people in order and upholding our values in order for the our democracy to work.
People
and
might say that's contradictory, though. I hate to cut you off because you're an independent now. You're not working within those two parties that you believe needs to be functioning.
Well, let me explain. So the reason I left is because obviously, and I have a whole chapter on the Republican Party in the book, that's been problematic for a long time now. We do not have even conventional Republicans.
That's true.
And in last year, almost throughout the year, we heard about Project 2025. And obviously, I was hopeful for Vice President Kamala Harris and really wanted her to win. I thought she was more than qualified to do that. And when she lost, my thought was the Democratic Party would be in a fighting mode because we knew what was coming. Yeah. And
even though the Republicans lied about it, Trump, we don't know. Trump,
but
2025.
But we know Trump has. I mean, when has he ever really told the truth, right? And so, come January, after we leave the White House, I was bumping into people, seeing strangers who were coming up to me, and they were afraid, and they were saying to me, "What's the Democratic Party doing? What's happening? Why are we not fighting? We knew this was coming
I
when
heard
we lost
and hear
another."
too.
Right? See,
Yeah.
and I thought to myself, "What's happening?" The fact that, for example, they rubber stamped Trump's appointees. I mean, that's the power that they relinquished, the Democratic Senate. They just relinquished it without fighting, knowing what was about to come, knowing that some of these appointees were not qualified to do so.
Well, what do you say to them? Because you know them. You know Cory Booker personally. You know Amy Klobuchar. You know some of the folks what do you say to them?
That's why I believe the power needs to come back into the people's hands. And what I mean about that is and this is the broken system. I feel like it's too much in the hands of the White House, too much in the hands of D.C. It needs to come back to us. And we as people need to not be fearful because fear is the point in this chaos that we've seen the first 10 months. They want to silence us. That's when this past Saturday, seeing the 7 million people come out, growing by the millions each No Kings rally, it sends a message that folks are ready and willing, and we just have to continue to keep them engaged. And just to finally answer the one of your parts of your question, look, I was in the Democratic Party for almost 20 years, if not 20 years, and I worked for 2 Democratic presidents. I am now a private citizen. I'm speaking for myself. And in order for me, I believed in order for folks to hear me, in order to have a conversation, I thought, okay, let me be an independent and see if I can do this and see if I can try and help push the party forward by being an independent outside the two-party system. It's very nuanced. It's an exercise, but I'm having the conversations. People are asking me. I get to lay out what I think is happening, and folks are excited. Folks are like, "You're saying the quiet stuff out loud."
Okay, well, let me jump in here because I feel like our journey is very similar because I hear the same things that you hear. Democrats, what are you doing? Why you're not meeting the moment? You're letting the Republican Party, the White House, just run all over you. Why are you supporting and approving their nominees? All of those things, I hear it, and people are frustrated. The thing is, though, is that you worked so long in the Democratic Party, right, to push the party forward. They may not be doing it, and I agree, in the right way. I think they're learning. While they're building the plane, they should have done it, before. But why step away from the party? And some folks will say this. I've heard stab the party in the back while you're.
Yeah, I'm not stabbing the party in the back. I've worked for
when they're the only people fighting for democracy right now. They need your help more than ever.
I don't. That's the point. I don't see them fighting for democracy. I see them very quiet. I see them relinquishing their power. And one of the issues that I truly have is Black women are the backbone of the party, have been on the front lines, and I feel like we get taken for granted in large part. When you start talking about throwing communities under the bus, like the LGBTQ community, for short-term gain because you're trying to move the party to the center, whatever it is you're trying to do, I'm part of that. I'm part of that community. And for me, I want to see a moral compass. I want to see them fighting for everyone. And when we were going through civil rights, when the civil rights movement was happening, human rights movement was happening, there were issues that were not popular, that did not poll test well. But it's about humanity.
The civil rights movement didn't poll test well.
But you have to, they need to have the moral high ground by still fighting and bringing everyone in. When you start hearing them throwing LGBTQ, members of the LGBTQ under the bus, that's a problem. That's a problem to me.
Yeah.
And so the moral compass it's about humanity. It's about humanity here.
So you were the White House press secretary, the spokesperson, right, for everything, right? That is the most powerful, I believe, podium in the world, don't you think?
I agree.
Yeah.
And it is a visual that is so important about the freedom of the speech and exercising democracy and showing that around the world.
So folks are going to say, why didn't you have that perspective then? Like, would that have helped you to have that perspective then? Were you in some place? Because I'm guilty of it. I think I was in a bubble. I thought everyone was listening to cable news and watch. And you realize when you get out in the world, it's a whole different thing. People are worried about their lives and different things, and inside the beltway for you, but in the media for me.
And Don, you say it perfectly. We're in the bubble. When you're in it, you're in the bubble. It's 100% correct. Even though we're trying to communicate outside of the bubble, because my job was, yes, to speak on behalf of the president, but go beyond that briefing room and try to talk to the American people. That's also, I'm representing the American people because of the president. It's all connected. We're speaking for them as well. And it is hard. And I would add misinformation, disinformation, the political partisanship. I mean, the political times that we're in, it's so, it's just so toxic. There's a level of toxicity that is hard to break. It just is.
Would you suggest that people who are sort of in your position, if you're a community organizer or a Democratic strategist or Republican or whatever, that you step out for a while?
I think it's so important. One of the things I say in the book is Democrats should any leaders should go into urban area, rural area, suburban mom, talk to them. I think we need to leave that bubble and actually hear what people are saying. Because one of the things that we were seeing is the economy was indeed doing better, right? We did get out of COVID. And we even saw consumer confidence go up. And we saw the polling and the data was there, but people were still, and the polling would show people were still not feeling it.
Did you saw my man on the street interviews during the election
when
people were like, the economy's, I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, and you would educate them, I saw.
And they just
like, we don't
understand.
care.
And now the economy's falling off a cliff. Negative job numbers.
We are where we were in 2021. We are going backwards.
Is that a Democratic problem? Is that a messaging problem? Because you were the biggest messenger.
And I agree. And I think obviously the outcome of November 2024 was not what we wanted. And I think we all hold accountability. We should all be accountable for it, including myself, because it didn't work. And this is why I'm saying, and this is something that you said when we started, it is important to go backwards for a second.
Yep.
Look under the hood, kick the tires, and be like, okay, what happened? Because millions of people who came out and voted for Biden and Harris in 2020 didn't come out in 2024. They didn't. Right. And so something is wrong. And I do believe before we move forward, before we even talk about 2026, 2028, which I'm really worried, let's see where we are. We have to figure out what happened. We have to figure out what happened. And what I'm seeing now, throwing communities under the bus, I'm not seeing any teeth, I'm not seeing any grit. When everything is on the line, our democracy is really hanging by a thread. If not already, we're in an authoritarian regime.
Okay,
regime, pardon
So,
me.
the criticism of you, as you know, is like, now she's an independent. She stepped away from the party. And I said not stab the back, but turn away from the party.
Yeah. Well, first they said I was stabbing the president in the back.
Oh, that's not in this book.
I know. Well, that was the original, and I was like, no.
So when you have that sort of perspective, what I wonder now, having the perspective that I have, why aren't the Democrats, and I'm not a Democrat, Why aren't they standing in front of hospitals that have limited services right now? When someone calls them and says, let's just say
100%.
Fox News or
100%.
CNN or MSNBC or whatever calls and says, can you do an interview? Yes, but I want to do it in front of Metropolitan Hospital.
I've said the same thing.
This hospital is unlimited or whatever, or it's closed because the Republicans or whatever.
I have said the same thing.
Or why aren't they standing in front of an airport and say, this airport was on hold. There are 1,500 flights that have been whatever because, why aren't they doing
because of the government shutdown? Yeah, I have actually said that when people
or going into neighborhoods where they're picking up moms in carpool lines. Yeah. Why aren't you at those schools saying with the Democratic canvassers saying? Is this what you voted for? Yeah. You supported Donald Trump, and this is what he's doing to moms really picking up vote. You need to vote Democrat. The election starts now. Sorry, go.
No, those examples are actually some of them I've given them when people have asked me, well, what should they do? What should Democrats do? I said, number one, be an opposition party because this is not normal times. Right. And so you have to behave as if, you know what? We're in this fight. And we're going to do it from the ground up, and we're going to bring people with us. And that was one of the things that I've said. I mean, look, the hospitals, I said that too, which is some of these hospitals are going to shut down. Right. Some of these nursing homes are going to shut down because of GOP hikes. Why are they not doing press conferences there to make that very clear? You want to talk to Republicans? Go into a red district and go talk to a Republican and let them know, hey, here's where the economy. This is where
they doing it?
I don't know. And
they have time off. There's nothing.
And even with, even with the No Kings rally, those are only being held by outside groups.
Right. And an appointed time. It's not. I'm shocked that people aren't in the streets right now. Yeah. When I see the video of people just being rounded up without due process, and they're saying it's non-citizens.
It was in a canal,
Canal Street.
Just yesterday I saw a video of that.
Rounding up vendors. Yeah. But it's not just undocumented people. I have interviewed American citizens.
I saw this. You went to Chicago.
Yes,
I saw this. Yeah. American citizens are being rounded up, brown and black. People more broadly, and it includes American citizens. As you said, there was a kid saying, I'm an American citizen. I'm American citizen. And it didn't matter. The fact that people are saying to us, you need to carry a passport. This is traveling within.
Show me your papers.
Within the states.
I know.
Not going abroad. We have to now carry our passports. I carry my passport with me all the time.
If they look at it, Karine, because they won't. I interviewed a man who said, I had my birth certificate, 100%. I had my state ID card, and my Social Security card. They didn't want to look at it. 10 hours he was in detention.
Yeah. It's like after the fact. Due process, maybe you'll get it.
I did a show this week with a "Don't Tread on Me" sign. And I said, what happened to the people who said, don't tread on me? I had a sign behind me. I said, what happened to those people? Is it just for white guys who drive big trucks?
Yeah.
Or is it for everyone? Because the Constitution says about due process, all persons.
All persons
not
indeed.
Just citizens. So the perspective that you have, two things that I'm combining two things here.
Okay.
The perspective that you have now that you've stepped away. And if you've read, I'm sure, the vice president's book, or you've heard about the vice president's book.
Yeah,
she talked about how she felt she was treated within the party. Yeah. So 2 questions. Do you feel that you served the president well?
I feel that I served the president to the best of my abilities. It was an honor and a privilege to have been White House press secretary. And I don't think I would have been White House press secretary if it wasn't for Joe Biden appointing me in that position and understanding the importance of having me in that position. I was not perfect. Like I said, I hold myself to account for some things as well, not just the Democratic Party. But I did it to my best of my abilities. I worked really, really, really hard to do the job.
I wanted you to cuss some people out.
You and probably a million other people. I hear this all the time.
But I found that I thought that people were very disrespectful of you at points, and I would have, and I loved it when you said, hold on, to some of the folks. But then I actually thought sometimes the most respectful person was a person from Fox News. You guys got into it, but it never seemed like you were.
No.
It never was antagonistic. But some people, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And it was very.
It was shocking. It was very shocking.
What do you think that is?
I think that's for people to really read the book, think about it, and figure it out. Look, I will say this more broadly, because I don't think it was everybody in the room, but when you are a first, just speaking in generalities, right? When you're a first, and you're breaking that ceiling, one of the things is people have never seen someone that looks like you doing that job.
Yep.
And it sometimes it shakes them a little bit, or they don't know how to behave or react to that.
Yeah.
And also, so there's that piece of it. And then the other piece of it too is you're put on a different, in a different level.
The rules are different.
Right. You have to be perfect. You can't slip up and say one word. You can't say, tomato instead of tomato. You know what I mean? You can't, you are just held to a different standard. And that is just true. I don't care if you're in corporate America. I don't care if you're in media. It is just the way that rolls.
Do you think it's because you're Black? Part of it.
Look, I think, again, this is speaking in generalities, it is something that happens to people who are first. It is something that we are, I think, very accustomed to understanding that we have to be mindful.
I think it was.
We have to be mindful.
I think it was. Come on, I think that. Look, I don't know about being a member of the LGBTQ family, which I am, and you are, but I don't know how much that played into it.
Yeah.
But yes, of course, the rules are different, and it's easier to criticize us. Most of the criticism of me and most of the criticism of you, I found it was based on racism, and for me, racism and homophobia. Because it's always a thing. Like, they either go to the DEI hire or they start, saying negative things about sexuality.
They're trying to get rid of DEI all over the place, right?
But
Project 2025.
I see Caroline Levitt now, and I mean, basically, she's like barking orders, and they're like, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am." Like, what? Why no pushback?
That's something that they need to answer to.
Why no pushback?
Something that they need to speak to. That is for them in the room to speak to that. It really is.
Are you shocked by that? When you watch those, do you watch the press conference?
First of all, I don't watch them. I haven't watched a daily briefing since I left. I do see viral clips, obviously, that are out there. And what I will say is, one thing that we did in the Biden-Harris administration and other administration, regardless if there's an R or a D after their names, I believe, is when you are in that press briefing room, you are exercising in the freedom of the press. You are exercising in democracy, and no administration loves the press. I mean, that's not the point, because their job is to hold us, and as you know, hold us to account, hold the powerful people to account. And so it's healthy to have a back and forth. It's healthy to neither side to like each other, but there has to be a decorum and a level of respect. And when
it goes both ways.
It goes both ways.
I feel that she's very disrespectful of the press.
No, it goes both ways.
Yeah.
I totally agree. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, you have to have some level of respect for both ways. And when you don't have that, then that turns into some sort of weird state TV for a very small percentage of the population that you're speaking to. Mm-hmm. It becomes like this weird online trolling. Yeah. And so that, to me, is dangerous. And it's part of the larger problem of what's happening right now with our democracy being eroded.
First Amendment.
I mean,
it's crazy.
None of us have seen anything like that before.
When they pull the AP's press, were you like?
We would never have. We would never have done that. No other administration would ever have done that. Again, you respect the freedom of the press. And then I was like, well, if we had done that, my gosh.
Can you imagine?
And I have, sometimes I see things that I have no words, because I cannot fathom that happening in our administration or any other administration, because there has to be a respect for the freedom of the press. Because again, it's not just Americans watching, it's other heads of states watching, and watching what the one of the things I learned in the job is so many people around the world watch what we do. Yeah. Watch what because we lead in so many areas. Yeah. And what we do sends a message to whether it's a dictator or someone who's running a democratic country.
Karine, they know it's a show. I have to give it to them. Donald Trump knows it's a show, and he produces several different shows every day, whether it's at the briefing room, and then it's the press op or whatever, photo op in the Oval Office,
all the time. or about to go on Marine. I mean, everything is a game.
Talk to me about the East Wing.
That's heartbreaking.
When you see those pictures, what do you think?
I do.
Backhoes and bulldozers.
When I first saw it, I thought to myself, oh, that can't be real. Like, I didn't believe it at first. And then I was like, I had to like dig in and look to see if this was real. And it was. And it really, there is no greater metaphor right now to what Donald Trump is doing to this country than seeing that wrecking ball going right into the East Wing.
So let's talk about Joe Biden. You said people said that you had stabbed Joe Biden in the back.
Yeah, I would never have. I've known him since 2009.
So I think it was the Juneteenth. Was it when Gladys Knight and Patti
I think
LaBelle?
it was the last one.
Okay,
yeah.
So I saw you guys. I was there, and I walked around and I looked at you guys sitting on the front row. And
that was the first one. That was the first one because I don't think I did the second one because it was just so crazy.
Okay, but it was a last. It was during the election.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so maybe the vice president. I'm not sure if you were there, but I looked and I said, "Man, Joe Biden looks tired. President Biden looks tired." And he was just kind of standing there. Did you, and I know you've said you haven't, but did you at any point say, he's working too hard, he's tired?
I have to tell you, I was tired. Like, seriously, I was exhausted and tired. And if you're talking about June 19th, I think we had just traveled. I think we just came abroad. We were doing like Europe a couple times. We were traveling a lot. I was tired. I was. And so I would not be surprised if he was tired. I mean, being president of the United States is an exhausting job for everyone who's held it.
He was barely reactive when I saw him, Karine.
Except the current one.
He was like just kind of standing there like, and I was like, something's different about him. And I'm not saying that he was incapacitated, but.
Yeah, here's what I can only speak from my truth and what I have seen. I have seen a president, and I saw him on a daily basis as his White House press secretary. He would call me in. We would talk about what was in the news. He would, ask about a particular story that he saw, wanted to make sure whatever we had announced was landing in stories. And obviously that was a comm press operation there, not just my team. And he was someone who was always engaged.
Do you think you were too close to it? Because sometimes when you see people, I'll see my mom.
Yeah.
And then I won't see her for, 6, 8 months.
Somebody was giving me this example
and then
the
I'll
other
say,
day.
oh, mom, like she looks smaller. Or, and I'm sure people, when they see me, like, oh, he's aged or whatever. But when you see someone every single day, you don't notice those things.
Well,
Do you think you were too close to it?
I know that he's aged. I've known him since 2009. He's not the same
we all
person.
do.
Right, we all age.
Yeah.
So that's not the question of aging and looking different and changing. I mean, I'm not denying what people saw. I'm just saying that he was very much aware and alert and very much, there when I would be talking to him and we would be talking about issues of the day, politics of the day. And what I mean is like news of the day, if you will. The way it's been depicted is like as someone who is just not there at all. And that is not what I saw. That is not what I experienced with him. Did he age? Of course he did. I'm not going to deny that. He did age. And with age comes stumbling in words and physical changes. That happened. It happened right before our eyes. For those of us, if you think about not even, some folks don't even really remember Senator Joe Biden because it feels so long ago now. But they saw him as vice president. They saw him obviously as president. And he did change physically. He did.
Do you think he was up to the job at the end?
I think objectively, if you look at the 3-4 years of his presidency, of Joe Biden's presidency, we did more than some presidents had done. And this is objectively.
No, look, the country was in a much better place when he was president. I'm not denying it. I'm saying moving forward to run again and 4 more years.
So that part, that's a hypothetical that I can't really say. I could only speak to the moment that we were in. And I believe that in the moment that we were in, he was doing the job in one of the most effective ways. And that's history. That's like historians, that's not just me, Karine Jean-Pierre, on a personal level. That is what we saw being delivered from this administration. He did it in a way that was caring, that was smart, that brought experience and the understanding of policy. If I can't say what the future would have looked like, I just don't know.
Do you feel like, I feel like he treated you like a family member and you as well as treated him. I had to have a talk with my mom. I was like, Mom, I've observed you and I've watched you since you've been staying with me. And let me tell you what my concerns are about you living alone, blah, 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 blah. Were you ever concerned? Do you wish you had said something?
I have to tell you, I mean, Don, I was never concerned.
Okay.
I really, really wasn't. Again, I saw him on a daily basis engaging with me and he was the president of the United States. So there's a level of respect that
Do you
you
still
give
talk to him?
He called me a couple of weeks ago and he called to check in on me and to see how I was doing.
How's he doing?
He's doing fine. He's doing fine. And I said to him, please take care of yourself. And he said, I will. And I am. So
the second part of it, I said, do you think you served the president well? Do you think the president and the administration served you well?
I think the president served me well. I think in broad stroke, the administration served me well. I think there were certain people who would rather that I wasn't there, and it made things difficult. As you know, there were stories out there constantly, nonstop, and it didn't come from.
Don't I know?
Yeah, it didn't come from hundreds of people, right? It came from a handful of people, and I do truly mean that when I say this, I mean this, which is it was one of the best experiences that I've ever had, and it was an honor and a privilege. But there were some tough moments. I'm not going to deny that there were some tough moments and some tough folks that I had to deal with. And that's just a reality.
Let me just ask you, do you think they served the vice president well? Do you think the Joe Biden administration served the vice president well?
So I'll say this. I have not read the vice president's book. I am incredibly proud of her leadership and what she was able to accomplish, not just as vice president, obviously at the top of the ticket as the nominee. And I'm glad she wrote her book. I think it's important that we hear her truth and we hear her voice. And I think we have to learn from what she is sharing in this book. And all I can speak to is for me and what I was hopefully able to do for her, especially when she was running for president at the podium and defending her, some moments even going viral. And I hope that I did the best for her on her behalf. And it's her story to tell. And she experienced this very, very personally. And again, she's a first, right? She's a first. And so it does not surprise me that she had experiences the way that she explains it. It does not surprise. And I would never deny her that. I would never deny her that.
Would you do anything differently?
As White House press secretary?
Yeah, if you're looking back, having this perspective.
I think so. I think in all of our careers and different lives that we have in our careers and whatever it is that we're doing.
I should say, what would you do differently? I should have.
Oh, what would I do differently? What would I do differently? Wow, that's such a good question. I think there's a list. I just want to be really smart as to what I would have done, but I don't know. Work harder. I don't know. I think I would have. There's always times where you're like, oh man, maybe I should have, talked to the president about this before doing this. I don't know. Maybe I should have, I don't know. There are things that I will definitely. I think they're so. Not granular, but they're not like broad, right? They're probably more like logistical, more granular, practical things than less like, oh my God, this is a reimagining of things and it would have changed everything. It would have been so big.
As a spokesperson for the White House and the president, this is the last question. Yeah. Joe Biden's legacy.
Wow. I think Joe Biden's legacy is pretty broad in the sense of coming into COVID, getting us out of COVID in a way that was effective and quick and didn't forget communities that would normally been forgotten, turning around the economy. But I also think the administration that he built, it being the most diverse administration in modern times, I think it's important because the message that it sent was we need everybody's voices. America is truly, truly a melting pot at this point, and it's important to have everybody's voices and everybody feel like they're represented. Ketanji Brown Jackson, Kamala Harris. I mean, there are
Karine
things.
Jean-Pierre.
Well, thank you. I mean, there are things that I think will have amazing effect as we go through history. But Ketanji Brown Jackson, I mean, that is something that has a legacy that's withstanding, and it's something that I think I mean, she's iconic now.
We've known each other for a long time.
For a long
I remember
time.
you were a CNN contributor. Short, dark hair. You know.
Now it's all, I don't know what's going on now.
The Anita Baker kind of hairdo. Right?
No one's ever said that before. I love Anita Baker. I love Anita Baker.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's so
I
good to see.
appreciate it.
I miss mixing it up with you.
I know.
We did had
mix
great
it up.
interviews. We went
had,
viral.
Oh yeah.
I asked you remember about Joe Biden, and I think it was like 2022.
It was 2022.
And everyone's like,
Was it? Yeah, it was because I was press secretary. It had to be
it was
2022.
crazy.
Yeah. I remember because I was in the press briefing room. It was like the only interview that I gave in the press briefing room.
oh, wow.
Because I think it was raining or something outside. Yeah. But
a first.
it's good to see you. Congratulations to all
And
your
you as
success.
well.
Continue because it's fun watching you. I love it. One of my favorite things is when you're out in the streets.
Thank you.
It's really, truly. And so thank you for continuing to put your voice out there, for really fighting for truth and educating people. I love when you educate people in the most like graceful way. It's never.
I'm not trying to embarrass people or show that they're dumb. I'm really trying to have a conversation.
I think it's
Yeah.
helpful. So thank you.
Thank you, Karine.
Support for the show comes from Ali. So you know me. You know my dogs. Boomer, Barkley, and Gus Gus. They run the house. I switched them to Ali because I wanted the best for them. Real, fresh, human-grade food. No fillers, no mystery meat. Just simple, nutritious ingredients made for dogs, not for people's leftovers, okay? Ali customizes each meal plan for your dog's needs. Age, weight, energy level, all of it. The difference was instant. Their coats shine, energy's up, and even Gus Gus, who is picky as ever, licks the bowl clean. Boomer's actually the most picky, but he's a clean too. So go to ollie.com/lemon, fill out the 30-second quiz, and use code LEMON for 60% off of your first box. They even offer a happiness guarantee. That's Ollie, OLLIE.com/lemon, and the code is LEMON. Support for the Don Lemon Show comes from Beam. When the noise of the world won't let me rest, I reach for Beam's Dream Powder. And that's happening a lot lately. You know that, right? It's a natural sleep blend with magnesium, reishi, L-theanine, and melatonin that helps you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up clear-headed. Since I started using it, I've noticed a real shift. I'm sharper, calmer, and that cinnamon cocoa flavor has become part of my nightly ritual. So no grogginess, no fog, just focus and recovery. Beam has improved more than 17 million nights of sleep. And now my listeners can get up to 40% off. So go to shopbeam.com/lemon and use the code LEMON at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/lemon and use the code LEMON at checkout. Thank you to all of our sponsors.
Oh, you're muted, Don.
Thank you to all of our sponsors and to Karine Jean-Pierre. This is a book. It's called Independent, a look inside a broken White House outside the party lines. Now, much was said and written about this book before it was published. And a lot of what was written about it is not true. That's why I always tell you people, you cannot believe everything that you read. There's so much misinformation out there. People are just doing things just for clicks. I did not see anywhere in this book, nor in her interviews, where she threw Joe Biden under the bus. And that's what they were saying. Now, I had to ask her about all of that, right? Because the vice president's book came out not long ago, and she talked about how she felt, you know, the administration had treated her, how she felt the party had treated her. And I didn't hear the vice president really, you know, talk smack about Joe Biden. She has a right to tell her story, the vice president, and so does Karine Jean-Pierre. Both women have the right to tell their story, whether you agree with them or not. My only thing is that I understand her being an independent. I just wanted to get to the bottom of, well, she had been a Democrat for so long and fighting for democratic causes and believing that we needed a two-party system that was effective and powerful and dynamic, and that worked. But she wasn't working within the two-party system. She explained herself. I thought that was a very important thing for her to explain. And I also thought it was a very important thing because when I told you I saw Joe Biden at the Juneteenth celebration at the White House on the lawn, and I didn't get close to him, but I got within enough, you know, fairly close. I mean, not like this far, but just like maybe here to the door there. And I said, I looked, and he just looked kind of tired and just kind of, out of it a bit. And I said, he looks tired. And I was just wondering if people who were close to him noticed it, because many times you don't notice things when you see people every day. But if you see them and then you don't see them for a while and then you see them again, you're like, oh, this person is not the same. So anyhow, that is what is going on. Is there something? I don't need to go back to the courthouse, do I? No. Okay.
No.
So let me finish with the Karine Jean-Pierre thing. So in the end, we talked about this contentious interview that we had. The interview is longer than what I'm going to play for you. But when I tell you guys, not to pat myself on the back, but I will, that I'm not afraid to ask anybody any question, and it's all the way you ask a question. Now, I asked Karine Jean-Pierre a question, and some people will say, oh, that's a softball interview. But it's not. I asked the same questions that everybody else would ask, but I did it with a smile. Do you understand what I'm saying? I was kind when I did it. And sometimes you have to be sturdy with people, and stern, I should say. And then at other times you have to be aware and have a feeling about the person you're interviewing, right? And to where and I don't mean you kiss their butts. I don't mean that you roll over, but some people you have to be stern with, right? Because you need to get the answers, and we're not messing around, i.e. Elon Musk. Other people you have to, sort of, how are you? Especially people you have a relationship with. So I can see around corners. I knew this was going to be an issue in the 2024 election. This is before anybody decided to run, who was going to run, who, whatever. And I was on CNN. I started noticing what the president, his demeanor, and he had also spoken about his age himself. And so I asked this question, and you would have thought that I, pew-pewed somebody, meaning, here it is, CNN 2022.
Does the president have the stamina, physically and mentally, do you think, to continue on even after 2024?
Don, you're asking me this question. Oh my gosh, he's the president of the United States. I can't even keep up with it. We just got back from New Mexico. We just got back from California. That is not a question that we should be even asking. Just look at the work that he does. Look how he's delivering for the American public. Look, that article that we're talking about is hearsay. It's salacious. That's not what we care about. We care about how are we going to deliver for the American people? How are we going to make their lives better? That's what the president talks about. That is his focus. And that's where we're going to continue to focus on.
Okay. So then that's the one we can find on the internet. There may be a longer one. I'll try to find that. And then I followed up and I said, I have eyes, and we went back and forth for a little bit, but it was never contentious. It's like Tara Setmeyer and I the other day on the chat or the show that we did, where we call it having a, what is it, like rage debate or whatever it is. And that's how you do it. You don't have to be mean and call people names and, oh, I can't stand you, or I hate you, you're out of your mind. So anyways, that was that. So guys, if you would like to know, well, let me take you back to the courthouse. Let's start where we began. This is in Norfolk. Letitia James being arraigned today on charges of, I think it's mortgage fraud or whatever. We know that it's bogus charges. She is going to be booked and fingerprinted and have her mugshot taken, all of those things, just like Donald Trump was. But again, we know this is all just for show, just to try to make people's lives harder. And this will go away, but not without a lot of consternation, not without a lot of legal bills and court battles and delays and all of that. So, but she's going to be okay. Okay. So if you want to know anything about the Don Lemon Show, we'll continue to follow that. You can go to donlemon.com, go to donlemon.com. If you want to know anything about the Don Lemon Show, please subscribe. If you hit that subscribe button is on the bottom right-hand side of your screen right now. You can also go to our main page, which is YouTube, that little arrow at the top. You can subscribe. There's a subscribe button, and there's also a join button, which is memberships, and our memberships are very reasonable. So welcome to all the new members, and you guys know that's how we stay viable out here. Okay, in the streaming streets. Also check out our merch. I did not wear my black hat today. I was like, okay, I've got the Don Lemon Live shirt on, which I think I'm gonna start wearing this every day. I love this shirt, or a version of it. And so you can get all of this on our merch. Just click on merch on the donlemon.com website. You can go right there and get all of this stuff, including the mug and the hat and the socks and the doggy bandana and the tote and the shirt and the bumper sticker, or just a sticker, wherever you want to put it. You can get all those things. Okay. And the highball, low ball cocktail glass that I love. There's even a muscle tee in there and the new black hat. And then there's now a new long sleeve white Don Lemon Show shirt. Is that right next to the black hat? Is that the one? So you got the black hat. Yeah, I can't wait to get this shirt. Logo, long sleeve shirt. So anyway, thank you guys. I'm going to see you back here at 5 o'clock Eastern time. So until then, I want you to be informed without being inundated. I hope you liked the interview, and I hope you liked our breaking news at the top and that you learned, okay? So be informed without being inundated. Until I see you back here at 5 p.m. Eastern time on the Don Lemon Show and the Don Lemon channel, I want you to turn the TV off.
Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support,